Welcome to another video, ladies and gents. And let me tell you something straight off the bat. If you don't think this story is crazy, man, you crazy as hell. Okay? Just read this story right here. Norwegian filmmaker faces up to 3 years in prison for saying men cannot be lesbians. Tanjay Jevjan is a lesbian filmmaker who intentionally made the comment to criticize Norway's hate speech laws. So this woman is a lesbian who says men cannot be lesbians and is now facing 3 years in prison. And you thought we were just headed for the upside down. Looks like we're already there. Let's read the story. A woman in Norway is facing up to 3 years in prison on criminal hate speech charges after saying that a man cannot become a lesbian. Tanjay Jevjan, a lesbian filmmaker and actress, was informed on November 17th that she was under investigation for speaking out against prominent Norwegian activist Christine Jentoft on Facebook. Jentoft is a transgender female that often refers to herself as a lesbian mother. Huh? Jentoft previously accused another woman, Christina Ellingson, of transphobia for a similar claim. Ellingson is also under investigation and faces 3 years in jail if found guilty. So that's two people that this person is trying to have sent to prison just for speaking their minds. The post on Joe Facebook page under investigation read, "It's just as impossible for men to become a lesbian as it is for men to become pregnant. Men are men regardless of their sexual fetishes." Now that should not be, what is wrong with that statement? All of a sudden this is considered some type of alt-right, right-wing extremist type of statement when it's just based in biology. And this is the filmmaker. This is Jeff John right here. Norwegian filmmaker and actress Tanjay Jevjan faces up to 3 years in prison for refuting the idea that a man can be a lesbian on Facebook. Jevjan has said that she intentionally posted her Facebook message to draw attention to Norway's hate speech laws. I guess things are very different in Norway. Jevjan's comments appear to be under investigation for falling under a 2020 amendment to the country's penal code that added gender identity and gender expression under protected categories from hate speech. People found guilty of hate speech face a fine of up to 1 year in prison for private remarks and a maximum of 3 years for public comments. So if you're having a conversation with somebody and it happens to be leaked or recorded in secret, and you can face a year in prison for a private conversation, mano a mano. Women's rights activists, including the Women's Declaration International Norway, of which Ellingsen is a representative, have claimed that the amendment undermined free speech, obviously, and expression in the country. This is not the first time that Jevjan has spoken out on controversial topics surrounding gender and women's rights, and I applaud her. This is her too. This is Jevjan. She looks very Beverly Hills Cop 2, that 6 foot blonde with the. This is very reminiscent of that era in that movie. Older version, but still. Uh, Last year, Jeff John confronted Annette Treatbergsten, I guess, Norway's Minister of Culture and Reality. What? What in the 1984 George Orwell is a culture and reality minister? Claiming that misconstruing gender identity and biological sex has harmful and discriminatory implications for women, especially lesbians. Will the Equality Minister take action to ensure that lesbian women's rights are safeguarded by making it clear that there are no lesbians with penises? That males cannot be lesbians regardless of their gender identity, and by tidying up the mess of the harmful gender policies left behind by the previous government, Jeff John asked. Oh, geez. Yo, she went in. She asked it. I agree. Ask it. I do not share an understanding of reality where the only two biological sexes are to be understood as sex. Gender identity is also important, Treesbergen replied. Well, that is true, but in a smaller sense, though. Because what is reality? What is natural law? Natural law requires two opposites to procreate and reproduce. Everything else is just, it's everything else. It's not reality. You're supposed to be a minister of culture and reality, but here you are dealing and peddling fiction. How is the species supposed to move forward where what you're proposing does not help accomplish that in any form or fashion? The first discrimination case in Norway that centered on gender identity was filed in 2018. The case centered on a transgender woman who complained that she was asked not to shower in the women's locker room for a sports center, according to the female-led news organization Redux. So this is a transgender female showering in the women's shower. Now, if it's like the men's shower, right, where it's open stalls, open pipes, it's like one next to the other. There is no separation. I'm not sure, but that's how it is. I know for a fact that's how our showers were in college. So you're a woman and there's somebody that looks female with a third leg hanging, taking a shower right next to you. Lawmaker on trial in Europe for religious views, a cautionary tale for the U.S. I hope not, says lawyer. So this is a third person, but according to this, it looks like she was, it looks like she beat the charges because it says right here, Päivi Räsänen, MP of Finland's Christian Democrats, arrived to attend the court session at the Helsinki District Court on January 22nd, 2022. Räsänen was acquitted of 4 charges of incitement against a minority group. This whole story is crazy. And I hope it never comes to America, because just imagine what will happen to your social credit score if you have a private conversation. Where is it? If you have a private conversation and it is found out, right? That's 1 year in prison. This whole situation is madness. You're going to send a person to prison for just speaking something that is reality, or just speaking something that is their opinion, to a place where real criminals are. These are the same people, sometimes I think the Second Amendment should be the first and the first should be the second, because if the second one don't work out, then you just use the first one. These are the very same people who talk about the Second Amendment. Oh, they'll wipe their ass with it in a minute. All right? They don't care. But when it comes to how they feel, oh, they'll bleed all over the Constitution and cover themselves in it and say, constitutional rights. It's like the story I did earlier about the bathrooms in Oklahoma. They have bathrooms, but they're saying, oh, it's unconstitutional. That's the only time the Constitution comes into play, if it's something in their favor. Everybody else says, to hell with your rights. To hell with the Constitution. We are living in some crazy times, to be sure. Anyhow, I'll leave that there for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and of course, share it with everyone you know. Hopefully it's not headed over here, but if it is, time will tell soon enough. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.